You know, I had heard some things. I had heard that you thought I wouldn't be back. You thought you might not see a pit walk this weekend. Well, when I heard that, I came back just to spite you. Here we are, U.S. Air Force pit walk. They've deployed me to the pits once again, and boy, it's a pleasure to be back, especially here in the UP. Despite the rain, despite the unseasonably warm temps, that's not characteristic of the area. But for these guys and gals to pull out the stops for us to have a national here, to make us feel so welcome, for the fans to be showing up, we are so grateful for it. And also, look around the country, look around North America, how many places can we realistically be racing nowadays in November, in December? Snow has been hard to come by, let's be honest. So we're grateful to be here and kick off the 2023-2024 season. So start out, come on over here. We have Boss Racing, True North Motorsports, and wild off-season, right? Including Evan Dowd, new team, new manufacturer, new class, stepping up to the pro class. So a lot of changes for him. Oh, and a little one on the way come January. He was telling us about the team culture here, and every team has a unique team culture, right? Says it's so laid back here. So he's excited to be teamed up with this program and teammates with Taylor McCoy this weekend. We know Taylor McCoy is a two-time national champion with CSRA, our Canadian affiliate. So I don't know how much we're going to see of him this season, but nonetheless, he's here now, and it's cool that we get to experience what some of the top Canadian talent has to offer. So hope to see more, but he's going to go back and chase that CSRA championship once again. Pitted next to 1-3 Motorsports, headlined by a three-time national women's champion, Malene Coutu, and Marcus Ogamar. Marcus, new number, new team, number 9, stepping up to the pro class as well. And he just got to town on Thursday, 1 p.m. he landed. He was having visa issues. He could not get here sooner. So Malene, she trucked back to Minneapolis, St. Paul to pick him up from the airport, and they came immediately here, got in Thursday afternoon. But yeah, that says it all right there. He hasn't been here training. He was on a sled. I believe he borrowed Elias's sled. So he's been on the Skidoo back home, but that was weeks ago. So he says we're going to see how it goes. Maybe feels like he has some catching up to do, but really excited about him stepping up to the premier class. And Kylo race team, come here. This is a big one. Okay, headlined by Jacob Björk. Why is this a big deal? Not only carrying the torch for the Arctic Cat guys out there and the diehard Arctic Cat fans, but this is a fresh start for him. And he said, less is more. And what does he mean by that? He is coming from All Finish Racing, where he's been at the last 2 seasons. And once they closed their doors, he said, honestly, I didn't know if I was going to continue. Didn't know what the future had in store. So he has teamed up with Chad Kylo and others who are actually, not only that he's worked with for a long time, but also many of which came over from Team All Finish Racing, and they're part of this program now. He says, this feels more like a sport or privateer environment, and for me, that is where I really thrive. So he is feeling so at home and at ease, and he says, I'm feeling more peace now than I've had in a number of years. He also made an interesting point. He says, in snowcross racing, we all aspire to go get a contract and ride for the super teams, these fully factory-backed programs. And while that's always going to be the goal, and this is not to diminish that, once you get there, it's amazing. That is where everyone wants to be. But he said, for me personally, I am thriving. I find myself thriving in this environment. He said, admittedly, I have struggled these last few years. Last season, we did not see him, aside from the opening round when he had been injured. So to see him come off of injury, still be able to continue his career and be a big part of starting up this new team, Kylo Race Team, that is a huge story that is unfolding before our eyes. And I couldn't be happier for him. And like he said, that peace he's feeling right now. So Jacob Björk, Kylo Race Team. Next to Team Warner Racing, Skidoo, always a front runner as we know, headlined by Jordan LaBelle, made his official AMSOIL Pro Class debut at the end of last race season. Big expectations for Jordan LaBelle this year, and he's a guy that's gonna back it up. And you know who is riding eerily similar to his brother yesterday? Dylan LaBelle, FXR Sport Class winner. Incredible ride from him. So that was a lot of fun to watch. And I know I don't talk enough about the FXR Sport Class, and they deserve it. Let's be honest, they deserve to be talked about more throughout our event, throughout our production, but in these pit walks. So I'm gonna do my best to follow it a bit closer this year because runs like that make it so exciting. So don't sleep on the FXR Sport Class once again this year. And Topi Posty making his way through the AMSOIL Dominator bracket. Should we be surprised? No. Rookie of the Year. He accomplished a lot in 2023. It was great to see him get picked up by Warner Racing Skidoo. KC Motorsports, Going pro racing this year with Oscar Norm, similar to Jacob Uterk. We didn't see him really last year, got injured early on in Fargo, I believe it was. So for him to get picked up, despite that, that is good. That can always be an unknown period. Gets picked up by a great family team, Casey Motorsports Polaris, and of course teammates with Evan Christian. So this is actually Elite Motorsports. I got to step in there. I'm like, which trailer is this? And I was greeted by Adam Ashline, going for the Pro Light Championship this year. And in the pro class, Gustav Salston, your Amsoil dominator this year, ladies and gentlemen, coming over from Sweden. So kind of the backstory on this team, towards the end of last season, things started to materialize for them. They decided we want to put a program together. It's 3 gentlemen who are not new to snowcross. They've been family operations that have actually been racing Midwest Snowcross Series, one of the great regional affiliates here in the US. And family team, I believe there are 8 or 9 racers total. The majority, aside from Adam Ashline and Gustav Salston, being youth and amateur racers racing the national circuit. And I was told the reason they selected Adam and Gustav is they want good examples for those kids coming up. That speaks volumes of those 2 athletes right there. So Adam Ashline going for that Pro Light Championship this year. We didn't see him last year. He went to school. He was racing for Shearing Speed Sports the year he won the FXR Sport Class Championship in 2022. He might have had opportunities to come back last year, but he was waiting for the right one. He didn't want to just come back on any manufacturer, any program. He was waiting for the right opportunity. And he has found it with Elite Motorsports, brand new team that it once again started up at the end of last season. So it's a pleasure to have them with us. And again, taking home the Amsoil Dominator fairy tale story. What's up? Malene and Tasha hanging out in the K2 Motorsports trailer. Malene, we've talked about her with 1-3 Motorsports. She spent some time off the sled this fall, taking care of her husband, Cole, who has had complications from his injury stemming from the Sioux Falls incident last season. So we miss Cole very much so, but he's actually wouldn't have been racing for K2 Motorsports this year. And when he announced that changes were coming this season, I believe on his social media, there were questions of, oh, did you and your dad have a falling out? No, not at all. He got an opportunity with Thien Motorsports Skidoo. So Malene said he's so bored at home right now as he recovers, but he's doing well on the road to recovery. Tasha Lang, Malene K2, both on the podium last evening. Tasha Lang is racing once again for Team West Coast Customs Racing Skidoo, who's over here to my left on the other side of the pit. So moving right along, I see Trent Whitworth's sled right out here. This must be Woody's Racing. So he's back with Woody's Racing Arctic Cat as well as Dan Benham. That's another really big story here, especially for you Arctic Cat fans, because Dan Benham has been with Arctic Cat he has an 8-year relationship with them. And part of his job this year, guys, is developing the next sled for Arctic Cat. Now, I was not given a definitive timeline of how far out into the future that will be. Could it be a year? Could it be 2 years? We don't really know, but that is his job this year. So I was like, Dan, what are your goals? What are your expectations this year? And he says, I want to be top 3. I have not been happy these last few years. And when you're checking that box on the weekends, top 3, wins will come. A championship could potentially come. So he wants to get back to that. Pitted next to Woody's Racing Arctic is, of course, Team Valley Polaris. Another racer making their pro debut, Riley Bester. I said, Riley, how you feeling about making that debut? He said, I'm nervous. I got jitters because I'm going racing with some of my idols, guys I've looked up to for years, and now he's getting that opportunity. Dropped a number, no longer is 151. He is now the number 15. So made his debut yesterday and looked good. And I was asking Kyle Pauline, team manager, how is he doing? Honestly, he goes, had to shake off some of the nerves in that first round. The Dominator is a great time to do that. No points on the line, and he's in good company, not just with Kyle Pauline in the team, but Adam Peterson as well. Shearing Speed Sports Skidoo, 1 pro rider this year, Hunter Patnode, but they have also acquired Anson Scheel, who came over from Arctic Cat as well. His former teammate from Christian Brothers Racing, Logan Christian, who has since retired. He had announced that over the off season, following in Logan's footsteps. Of course, Logan had raced for Shearing Speed Sports the last 2 seasons, so we're missing Logan this year, that is for certain. So Anson Scheel, new manufacturer, new team, world-class team to be doing it with. Judnick Motorsports Polaris. Guys, Amsoil Dominator, Emil Haar in that final, along with his new teammate, Cody Cam, coming over from Hensch's Racing Polaris. So Emil and Cody, good buddies, been teammates before over on Hensch's Racing. So now get to work with Scott Judnick, the two of them again, and they looked phenomenal. Great racing all evening last night. Honestly, I'm kind of blown away with the weather conditions that we had, that this racetrack provided the racing that it did. Exceptional. So good things coming this season from Judnick Motorsports Polaris. Both guys, multi-year contracts. So we talk a lot about how last season with the Dominator win and 2 wins also last season for Cody Cam, a resurgence of Cody Cam in the way he's riding, not just what he's accomplishing on track, but that's what we want to see. So we'll be seeing Cody for at least a few more seasons, hopefully more, but what do we know now? Multi-year contracts. So Snocross Race Team, SRT. Number 200. Snocross Race Team. That is because the 5-time champion Elias Ischel has been acquired by Snocross Race Team. I think this is really good for both Snocross and him. Elias, he's changed teams a few times since he started winning championships, since he's been racing here full-time in the US. When he was picked up by Pats Motorsports Skidoo a few seasons back, there were doubters. You're coming from Boss Racing to this team, to Pats Motorsports. Is he going to be able to perform in this sled? Is it going to be just as adequate for him? Is it going to be better for him? We don't know. People were saying they didn't know. They may have doubted him. So when he goes out there in that first main event with Pats Motorsports Skidoo, he wins. He acknowledged those who doubted him on the podium. So should we be doubting him with Snocross Race Team? I don't have reason to believe we should be doubting him. That's for sure. And Peter Narsa had officially announced his retirement. I believe he's officially retired from snowcross competition now, but he is around. I did see him hanging out here, so if you see the number 27 around, be sure to say hello. And as we make our way through this side of the pits, I'll just take you around this back stretch. Bikeman Performance, Troy Horbati teamed up with Bikeman Performance, and Cody Krantz as well, champ off-road racer, and brilliant snowcross racer as well. Part of the future of snowcross, Cody is. Fratellone Racing, Freeland Racing, Hilmerson Motorsports, Kraychek Racing. Jesse Kirchmeier's back, solely focused on Pro Light this year. Team Southside Polaris, same program as last year. So actually he's been busy asphalt racing this year and making the step up, I believe, to a modified, he said, this summer. So he's staying busy racing in the off season on pavement. West Coast Customs Racing Skidoo, of course, we had talked about Tasha Lang, but also picked up now the number 2, Nick Lorenz. So this could be the sunset of his Pro Light career. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't stick around Pro Light that much longer. So this is a pivotal year for him, but a new manufacturer. He has made from the jump from Polaris, to which he was a long time associated with, to Skidoo, of course, and a new team, and like I said, new number. So Nick Lorenz teamed up with them and Jesse Heisey and the crew. We have the satellite trailer for Pats Motorsports Skidoo pitted next to them. Flipson Racing, and around the corner here we have Hemmer Motorsports, who picked up Inanna Hauger, round 1 winner for Pro Women. She said, I feel like I have a lot to prove this season. Well, round 1, ladies and gentlemen, that was a statement right there. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Tune into the broadcast later on today. You can catch it live on Flow Racing. And new this year, we are broadcasting on Fox Sports 2. You can check out snocross.com for the full range of air dates for that. And as always, results, points, more, and dream schedule. I've made it this whole time without talking about it, but 9 races this year, including Valcourt. We also have Duluth, Lake Geneva, 9 races this year. Expansion, race entries are up. So much to be excited for this season. So thanks for following along with me. If you're still here, this has been your U.S. Air Force Pit Walk in Ironwood.